Fever, no! No! Also, would you guys look at this cute little denim set for Ozzy? In case you guys want to see him in it. Is that not so cute? Yes! A standard dove column! Big dove!
What if I told you the so-called WNBA Dynasty just got embarrassed by a team they've dominated for nearly a decade? No Caitlin Clark, no miracle shots, just pure domination. The Indiana Fever walked into this game as massive underdogs and walked out making history. They didn't just beat the Las Vegas Aces, they dismantled them. A'ja Wilson got every whistle you can imagine, still couldn't save her team. Chelsea Gray vanished, and Lexie Hull, she went toe-to-toe with Wilson and made her look like a rookie. But here's the kicker. The Fever pulled this off with their star rookie sitting on the bench in street clothes. And when the refs tried to hand the Aces a lifeline, Stephanie White exploded. Lexie Hull didn't back down. Kelsey Mitchell dropped bombs. Aaliyah Boston dominated the paint. And Vegas? They looked lost. So what really happened on that court? And what does it mean for the WNBA going forward? Stick around, because this wasn't just a win. It was a power shift, and the dynasty might be dead. In a defining moment for the Indiana Fever franchise, the team orchestrated a historic and resounding 81-54 victory over the Las Vegas Aces, a win made even more impressive by the absence of rookie sensation Caitlin Clark. For years, the Aces had stood as the immovable force in the WNBA, having dominated Indiana in 16 straight matchups across multiple seasons. But on this night, the Fever sent a clear message. They were no longer just a rebuilding squad, but a team with purpose, chemistry, and the resilience to take down a reigning dynasty. Without their marquee player, the Fever relied on cohesion, strategy, and raw energy to dismantle a franchise many had considered untouchable. The team entered the game with momentum from their recent Commissioner's Cup win, but few predicted the sheer dominance that would unfold across 4 quarters. This wasn't just a win, it was a statement, and in the heart of that statement stood Lexie Hull, who not only anchored the defense with unwavering intensity but became the face of the night's biggest controversy, a moment that brought into question the officiating consistency in the league. During a textbook box-out in the third quarter, Hull positioned herself perfectly against A'ja Wilson, only to be pulled down from behind in what fans and analysts alike viewed as an obvious over-the-back foul. Instead of the whistle blowing in Hull's favor, the officials inexplicably called a jump ball, much to the dismay of Fever head coach Stephanie White. The call quickly became a flashpoint, igniting debates on fair play and ref favoritism, yet Hull refused to be shaken. Instead of retaliating, she used the snub as fuel, playing with even more aggression and purpose for the remainder of the game. That controversial moment could have turned the tide, especially as the Aces were desperately looking for a spark, but Hull's composure and the Fever's resilience ensured it became just another missed opportunity for Vegas. The Fever's lockdown defense was perhaps the biggest revelation of the night. Holding a team of the Aces' caliber to a paltry 26% shooting is no small feat and speaks to a level of defensive execution rarely seen in the modern WNBA. Indiana's rotations were crisp, their help defense perfectly timed, and their communication on point. From the jump, they controlled the paint, forcing errant shots and capitalizing on every miscue. Vegas, a team known for its offensive fluidity, was completely smothered. The Fever forced 17 turnovers, outscored the Aces in the paint 28-10 in the first half alone, and played with a level of energy that overwhelmed even seasoned stars like Chelsea Gray. While Wilson managed to rack up points through frequent trips to the free throw line, the rest of the team looked disoriented and flat. Indiana's defense wasn't just disruptive, it was demoralizing. Each possession felt like a struggle for Vegas, each pass contested, each shot challenged. This level of lockdown defense hadn't been seen from the Fever in over a decade, and it came without their floor general Caitlin Clark on the court. Analysts across broadcasts were stunned, not only by the score but by the body language and mental composure of the Fever's defenders. They weren't just playing defense, they were controlling the entire tempo of the game through relentless pressure and communication that looked more like a playoff team than a young squad still finding its identity. A'ja Wilson's box score numbers told one story, but the game tape told another, finishing with 29 points on 9 of 18 shooting and 11 of 13 from the free throw line. Her individual stat line looked elite on paper. However, the context reveals a different narrative. Wilson's frequent trips to the line accounted for nearly half her scoring, with many of those fouls highly questionable. Dubbed Whistle Wilson by frustrated fans, her night was was marked not just by scoring, but by visible frustration and controversial physicality, including the over-the-back play on Lexie Hull. Despite the generous officiating, Wilson's impact felt limited when it came to shifting momentum or rallying her team. The rest of the Aces roster collapsed around her. Players like Chelsea Gray, who was once heralded as a clutch leader, finished with a mere 2 points and 5 turnovers. The Aces' supposed depth never materialized, as every rotation player failed to make a significant dent. It felt like Wilson was on an island, putting up points, yes, but unable to stop the bleeding. Indiana's defense closed in every time she touched the ball in the post, and without support from teammates, her scoring became irrelevant to the outcome. Vegas wasn't just being beaten, they were being exposed. On the offensive end, Kelsey Mitchell was electric. Dropping 25 points while hitting big-time shots from all over the floor, Mitchell played with the swagger and confidence of a veteran star. She was locked in from the start, scoring in transition, knocking down open threes, and finding her teammates with timely assists. With Caitlin Clark on the bench, Mitchell stepped up to fill the leadership vacuum, becoming the steadying presence the Fever needed. Every time the Aces looked like they might cut into the lead, Mitchell responded with another bucket, another dagger. Her court vision was exceptional, and her ability to read the defense allowed Indiana to maintain control throughout the game. Mitchell's performance not only kept Indiana's offense humming, it also demonstrated the growing balance and maturity of the Fever's roster, showing that even without their star rookie, they can generate high-level scoring and floor management. Aaliyah Boston and Natasha Howard provided the kind of frontcourt dominance that every coach dreams of. Boston was unstoppable in the paint, scoring 20 points and grabbing 7 rebounds while defending with discipline and power. Her footwork and positioning created endless problems for Vegas, and she routinely won her matchups against A'ja Wilson, something few players can claim. Natasha Howard, meanwhile, delivered a double-double with 11 points and 10 rebounds, hustling for loose balls, battling for second chances, and defending the rim like her life depended on it. Her effort earned her the Commissioner's Cup MVP and proved once again that she's one of the most versatile bigs in the league. Together, Boston and Howard outworked and outsmarted a Vegas frontcourt that looked flat-footed and confused. The Fever fed off their energy, and their presence in the paint allowed Indiana's guards to play freer and with more aggression. Chelsea Gray's performance was perhaps the most disappointing of the night. With expectations sky-high, she delivered just 2 points, 2 assists, and 5 turnovers. The veteran point guard looked completely out of sync, often dribbling into trouble and throwing errant passes that led to easy transition buckets for Indiana. Her body language was flat, and her inability to settle the team in key moments was glaring. Comparisons to Caitlin Clark, which had been floated by fans and analysts alike, fell apart under the weight of this performance. While Clark was sidelined, she remained vocal, animated, and engaged, cheering her teammates and offering input during huddles. Gray, in contrast, appeared detached and rattled. For a player tasked with leading a team through adversity, her night was emblematic of everything that went wrong for the Aces. She wasn't just ineffective, she was a liability. Caitlin Clark's presence from the bench was quietly one of the most important parts of the game. Despite being out with an injury, she was emotionally and mentally locked in. Clark was constantly seen firing up teammates, celebrating defensive stops, and offering encouragement during timeouts. Her leadership was palpable, and her joy was infectious. While she didn't record a single stat, she still impacted the game in a way that leaders do, by being present, supportive, and energizing. That kind of intangible leadership is what championship teams are built on. Even though she couldn't contribute on the court, her attitude helped set the tone for a team that played together, stayed composed, and remained locked in from start to finish. Coach Stephanie White's frustration with the officiating reached a boiling point in the fourth quarter when she erupted on the sidelines after another missed call. Her explosion earned her a technical foul, but rather than derail the team, it lit a fire under the Fever. The players responded to their coach's emotion by closing out the game with even more intensity. White's sideline outburst, while uncharacteristic, showed her passion and belief in her team, and her players responded in kind, channeling her energy into a relentless defensive stand that left the Aces flustered and out of answers. As the final buzzer sounded, the scoreline, 81-54, served as a seismic wake-up call to the rest of the WNBA. This wasn't just an upset, it was a dismantling. The Aces, once thought to be the league's gold standard, were reduced to rubble by a Fever squad playing without their most recognizable star. Indiana's team-first mentality, unselfish play, and defensive discipline sent a loud and clear message. The hierarchy in the WNBA has shifted. This is no longer a league ruled by dynasties and hype. Teams like the Fever are rewriting the narrative, and they're doing showing it through hard-nosed basketball and a belief in each other that can't be faked. And finally, the numbers told a brutal story. Indiana recorded 24 assists on 31 made shots, a staggering display of ball movement and team chemistry. They shot nearly 90% in the second quarter alone, while Vegas clanked their way to a historically bad shooting night. The Aces' offensive woes weren't just about missed shots, they were about being completely outclassed. For a team that once struck fear across the league, Vegas now faces serious questions about their identity, cohesion, and ability to respond when things don't go their way. Meanwhile, the Fever are on the rise, building something special, something real. And once Caitlin Clark is healthy and back in uniform, the rest of the league better be ready. Because this version of Indiana, fearless and unified, isn't just here to compete, they're here to win.